And stung by criticism of its lackluster approach to refugees fleeing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the United Kingdom unveiled a new scheme to allow refugees to stay with Britons for up to 3 years. Here's Patricia Rodriguez for the details.
UK on Sunday unveiled a new scheme to allow refugees fleeing the Ukraine-Russian war to stay with Britons for up to 3 years. The Homes for Ukraine program will allow tens of thousands to gain access to work, healthcare, and education, Cabinet Secretary Michael Gove said. Some 3,000 have already been given visas to join Ukrainian relatives living in Britain under an existing family scheme. With the new scheme, the government wanted to try to ensure that every available home is opened up to those who are fleeing persecution. Hosts will be given £350 a month and must commit to a minimum stay of 6 months. They must sponsor a named Ukrainian who Gove said could be someone Britons have met on social media or with churches and charities playing an intermediary role. Britons will need to undergo security vetting, especially to protect vulnerable women and children from Ukraine. The refugees themselves will still require a visa, although the government has simplified the process after a deluge of attacks last week over the complications it had thrown up to fleeing Ukrainians. Here's the announcement of Britain's Secretary of State for Local Communities, Michael Gove.
The scheme will allow Ukrainians with no family ties to the UK to be sponsored by individuals or organisations who can offer them a home. There will be no limit to the number of Ukrainians who can benefit from this scheme. Of course, we want to minimise bureaucracy and make the process as straightforward as possible, while also doing everything we can to ensure the safety of all involved. Sponsors will therefore be required to undergo necessary vetting checks, and we're also streamlining processes to security assess the status of all Ukrainians who will be arriving in the United Kingdom. The British people have already opened their hearts in so many ways. I'm hopeful that many will also be ready to open their homes and to help those fleeing persecution find peace, healing, and the prospect of a brighter future.
Gove said that a website for individual Britons to register as sponsors would launch on Monday, with the first arrivals possible in a week. The devolved governments of Scotland and Wales said that they were ready to act as super sponsors to bring in as many Ukrainians as possible and urged London to slash visa red tape. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, I'm Patricia Rodriguez. We live in interesting times.